Prince Harry has all but dashed hopes of a royal reunion, taking aim at his brother, the King and Queen consort, in his latest explosive interview. For more, let's bring in royal commentator Dickie Arbiter in London. Dickie, good to see you. Thanks for being with us. I'm really looking forward to your thoughts on this. Yeah, just give us, straight off the bat, your thoughts on what's happened in the last few days.
Well, what's happened is that, once again, Harry has crucified his family. He did it in the Netflix 6-hour series. And here he is doing it in his book. His book's getting a lot of mileage, a lot of interviews, one in the UK, 3 in the United States, and he's doing all the running. It's according to Harry, and certainly at the moment, the Buckingham Palace are going to keep absolutely quiet.
Do you think there's a world where Harry and his brother do reconcile, do come back together?
I don't believe it's any time soon. The wedge has gone so deep, the chasm is so wide, at the moment it is unbridgeable. Harry keeps saying that they've got to open the door, they've got to apologise, he wants to come in, but he's not actually doing anything to encourage them to do that. He is just rubbishing them all the time. It's all about him. And alleging that the family are against him. He's not actually providing any proof, but it is, as I say, all about him, and the family are just going to step back and let the dust settle.
Yeah. He spoke a lot about his mother, Dickie. You knew her well, and I just found it completely heartbreaking watching him talking about his dear mother. He lost her at the tender age of 12, just 12 years old, walking behind that carriage. But what do you think Diana would think about this, Dickie?
You know, that sort of question is one that's been asked by everybody, but if you look at it, if Diana were around, we wouldn't be talking about this now, because Harry wouldn't have gone through mental anguish. He wouldn't be talking about his brother and his dad the way that he is talking about them. And if something like this were to happen while Diana was still alive, well, she wouldn't have allowed it to happen. What is quite interesting, that 2 days before Diana died, and I know this because I spoke to her before she went off to the south of France, that she sat the 2 boys down and made it very clear to them that they are brothers, their paths are very different, but they've got to look out for each other. It's important that they look out for each other. William, being, you know, slightly older, took the lead, obviously, but she was very, very adamant that they should look after each other. And what has happened? Harry's walked out of the royal family with Meghan. They went to Canada first, then now they're in California, and he has done nothing since being in the United States but rubbish his family. And if he really expects them to open the door and let him in, then he's got to make amends. Now, is he going to go?
Looks as though we've lost Dickie there. We've a bit of trouble with his audio there, but thank you so much, Dickie Arbiter, and this is not over yet. More interviews with Harry in the offing.
She was once called Britain's most hated woman, so for Camilla Parker Bowles, now Queen Consort, the rehabilitation of her public image has been remarkable. But according to Prince Harry in his latest interview, that was at his expense. He's
royal editor at the Daily Mirror, Russell Myers. Rusty, good morning. Thank you for being with us. It's late there, I know. Harry just keeps doing these interviews. Has he thrown her under the bus, though, Camilla?
Well, good morning to both of you. I mean, it seems that way, doesn't it? I mean, Harry is pretty much a walking contradiction in terms, because in one part of that interview, he's reading from the book Spare, which we've been poring over for days now, talking about the fact that Camilla was pretty much, his enemy, that she was sacrificing him on the PR altar. I mean, it's really, really incredible detail that he says that she was essentially selling stories, placing stories into the press to get at him, to rehabilitate her image. I mean, it's pretty explosive stuff. But on the other side, he says that he has compassion for her, being the number 3 in the relationship between his father and his mother. I mean, it's all pretty mixed up. And like I've seen throughout the whole of this saga through the book in the last few days of these interviews, Harry really sort of jumbles up quite a lot and doesn't make sense of things.
Even that was a very pointed comment, I thought. But he gave us more insight into the Queen's role in all of it as well. Here's what he said. So if the Queen, the monarch, isn't running the shop, then who is?
Well, that's a big question, isn't it, Brooke? Because just last week we had Harry saying that during the Sandringham summit, where they all came together and they were thrashing out this deal in order to make Harry and Meghan be able to leave the royal family, he said pretty much the Queen was just sitting there as a bit part player, and it was his brother screaming at him from across the table, Charles sitting there and having a bit of a moan about the situation as well. So what is it? I mean, is it that the Queen was sort of a patsy in her final days, or that she was the head of the shop? She was the one running the show. I think that Harry can't have it all his own way, and I get the sense throughout this book and the interviews that he really gets himself in a bit of a muddle to try and deliver his truth. And it's only one side of the story, and because the royal family aren't going to hit back, I think at the moment that's certainly all we're going to hear.
Yeah, that's the question, isn't it? Is it the truth or his truth? And I guess that's playing out today and however long. We're going to be talking about this for a long, long time yet. But another moment getting attention, though, him denying he and Meghan ever branded the royal family racist in their interview with Oprah a little while ago now. Did the media twist their remarks, do you think?
Well, this is really interesting. I think that it's the most explosive thing to come out of these interviews and the book as well over the last few days, because let's look back to that time in early 2021 where Meghan made the comments that a member of the royal family had made pointed reference to the colour of their unborn children's skin. They doubled down on it. They said that it was something that they wouldn't discuss, but that opened up a huge raft of accusations levelled at the royal family about, was there a racism problem within the monarchy? Who was the royal racist? And for 2 years now, they have let those accusations run wild. Now, Harry has rode back on it, saying that it wasn't necessarily about race, it wasn't racism, it was about unconscious bias. Now, he's asking for the family to be accountable for their actions in his personal battle with him, and yet he wasn't accountable for the misinformation that he says was put out at the time. So again, it's one side of the story, having his truth, if you will, and I think it's a rather unfortunate play of events, not only for the family, but for him and their relationship moving forward.
Well, the good news is, Russell, is that we've got so many more interviews to watch, so I'm sure we'll be able to unpack it all even more in the days to come.
Yeah. Are you a bit sick of it? And do you feel a bit sorry for him, really quickly, Russell?
Listen, I have had a bit of a tinge of sadness about the whole thing on behalf of Harry, and I definitely think that people will have sympathy. But when you pick it apart, it's just an awful mess, isn't it? And listen, when's it going to end? I've no idea, but I think it will keep running for now.
We'll let you get some sleep, mate. I'm sure you'll be dreaming of Prince Harry tonight.